In college basketball news, Louisville has decided to part ways with their men's basketball coach, Chris Mack. Made the news official today, firing him after 3+ years at the helm. Mack will wrap up his tenure as Cardinals head coach with a record of 69-31. They are 11-9 on the season. For those of you that don't really follow the Ville that closely, you'll say to yourself, you know what? This guy's 69-31. Yeah, 11-9 this year is a little pedestrian ho-hum, to be exact. But he was a hell of a coach at Xavier. 69-31 is not terrible. However, take a deep look. They've lost 5 of their last 6 games this year. I got to witness 2 of them. One in person. I was there at Peterson Event Center. And let me tell you, this is not a good Pitt basketball team. Louisville lost that one. They also lost to Western Kentucky. Okay? A game they should not be losing. Saw that Virginia game on ESPN on Monday night, which, by the way, was Mack's last game as Louisville's coach. This team has clearly checked out on him. And once your team has checked out, there's no coming back. Some people will tell me, well, you know what? Hit the transfer portal. Quick programming note. These guys are all transfer portal players. I think there's a couple that were his initial recruiting class, which, by the way, has not panned out. Bottom line, this is just a relationship that has not worked out. It looked great on paper, hasn't panned out. Let me tell you what this is. Back in high school, I was very, very good friends with this girl. Her name's Heather. I'm still friends with her to this day. We were such good friends that we decided to take the next step, see if we had a romantic spark. We went out, we dated for about 3 months. We quickly realized that we were better friends than lovers. So we went our separate ways. To this day, Heather and I remain tremendous friends. She was at my wedding, I'm at hers. Our kids are very good friends. That's Chris Mack. That's Louisville. Louisville is a destination job. Chris Mack is a hell of a coach. I have no doubt in my mind, whether it's next year or it's the year following, if Chris Mack wants to take the $12 million buyout and take a break, spend some time with his family, go into broadcasting for a year, I don't know what he's going to do. But I have no doubt in my mind that within 24 months, Chris Mack will be a head coach somewhere. Whether it's at the Atlantic 10 or it's in the Big East, Chris Mack will be a head coach again, and I have no doubt he will flourish just like he did at Xavier. Louisville will land themselves a head coach, and I have no doubt whatever coach they get, I think will be a good fit if they get the right one. This was just not a fit compatibly for either side. It happens. Now, I know some people will come on here and say, well, what about the garbage that happened with with Gaudio, with Dino Gaudio? And yeah, I know Louisville was a little bit gun-shy about that. That's why they suspended Mack for 6 games. But trust me, that did a hell of a lot more damage to Gaudio than it did to Mack. Mack will get a job. No doubt about that. As I said, give it 24 months, he'll be a coach again. If he's not a coach again next year, it all depends upon Chris Mack. Gaudio won't be able to get a job as a ball boy for a Division I team. Nobody's touching that. Okay? That all came across as looking like sour grapes, especially when it all was unearthed that the infractions that Matt committed were basically minor. Okay? Again, looked like sour grapes. And these 2 guys were attached at the hip. These 2 guys came up the same coaching tree under the late Skip Prosser. So when Matt decided to move on from Dino, this again came off like the scorned lover syndrome. Nobody's touching Gaudio. Mack will get a job next year. So I think Louisville suspended him because after the whole Rick Pitino disaster that they're still cleaning the messes up from, they suspended him to set the example. We're not going to put up with this garbage. We're not going through another coaching scandal with off-the-court crap. Which, ironically enough, I'm going to touch on some coaching candidates that have been floated out there. One by the fans, one by a reporter by the Louisville Courier-Journal. Actually, a few by the Louisville Courier-Journal that I don't think are going to happen. But they're being floated out there anyway. But we'll get into that here in a couple of minutes. But like I said, this was not a compatibility fit. And I think best for both sides to move on. Now, let's get into the candidates here. First and foremost, let me get rid of this one that has been floated by people on social media, one including a person who has some ties to the media, Rick Pitino is not coming back to Louisville. It's not happening. They're still cleaning up the messes from when they left him behind before. That is not happening. Not today, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, not next year. I will be the head coach of Louisville before Rick Pitino is again. Okay? Now, let's talk about the list that was put out by the Louisville Courier-Journal reporter. And this is on Twitter. Here's the names he mentioned. Bruce Pearl, Will Wade, Nate Oates, and Kenny Payne. Two of these coaches have something in common. And that something is something that Louisville is trying to escape themselves from. As mentioned, they are still gun-shy from what they're cleaning up from Pitino's messes, which is why Chris Mack got the 6-game suspension. Now, Will Wade has danced around that law. He is a younger version of Pitino with the sliminess. Bruce Pearl had the book thrown at him. That was many moons ago. 2014, 2013, that may as well have been a lifetime. He's basically kept a pretty clean profile at Auburn that we know of. He's got the number 1 team in the nation. Yet, I wonder, deep down, will Louisville boosters and those that have authority be willing to dip their fingers into the pie of somebody that had major infractions at Tennessee, knowing what they're cleaning up for what Pitino left behind? It would be awesome to get the coach that has done so well in the past. He's won at Tennessee. He's won at Auburn. And believe me, if you can win there at football programs, he'll win huge at Louisville. That is a basketball school that plays at an NBA quality arena in a NBA town that doesn't have an NBA team. They've got resources for days. Bruce Pearl would win a national title there. No doubt in my mind. The question is, if Bruce Pearl really does want to go to Louisville, like people say, he will be heavily vetted. Question is, again, will there be enough proof that he's cleaned up his act? Will they be comfortable enough to hand over the reins to somebody that had major violations on his record at Tennessee? Will Wade, it's not happening. It's not happening at all. At least with Pearl, you can say there's been enough distance between point A and point B. Rehabilitation happened. Will Wade is recently. Will Wade's dancing on that line right now. The safe bet here is Nate Oates. Nate Oates won at Buffalo. Nate Oates is winning at Alabama. You can win in basketball at Alabama, where football is God and basketball ranks up there with badminton. You're a damn good coach. Nate Oates could win a natty at Alabama. At Louisville. Absolutely, I think Nate Oates could win a natty at Louisville. That, to me, is the safest bet. There's no warts on Nate Oates' face at all. That's a hell of a coach. So if they're looking for the safe bet, who I think could give them what Bruce Pearl does, it's Oates. Payne, safe. Absolutely. No warts there. Ties to Kentucky. The question is, do you hand your coaching reins over to an unproven commodity? North Carolina did it. Indiana, they handed theirs over to a NBA coach, but different animal. Duke's doing it. Will Louisville? I don't know. If those coaches, I think if they vet the hell out of Pearl and they are convinced enough that he's clean, would he leave Auburn for Louisville? I think so. I reluctantly say I think so, but I think so. I think Oates absolutely would leave Alabama for Louisville. So I think it's between Oates and Pearl, and if all else fails, I think Payne. But I think there's another list coming. I think Louisville is going to have some choice of candidates there. But of this list that was mentioned, I think it would definitely, Oates is a definite. I think Pearl is somebody in the back pocket. But there's going to be some real research done on him and some heavy duty investigating. Make sure that all the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed. And like I said, you're going to get Perry Mason treatment, because the last thing they want is to go in there and bring this guy in and give him a chance. And look, not to knock the guy, What he's done at Houston has been great. He's kept his nose clean to the letter to the law, and he's doing a great job. But the last thing they're going to want is another Kelvin Sampson in Indiana after what he went through at Oklahoma. They're not going to want to go out there after they're still trying to clean up the mess for Rick Pitino and bring in Bruce Pearl and have him slip up and get the program in even bigger messes. So that's that. But again, the news today, Chris Mack out as head coach of Louisville. According to a report online from a Louisville Courier Journal journalist, say that 50 times fast, the candidates on the list are Bruce Pearl of Auburn, Will Wade of LSU, which is not happening. I'm ruling that out right now. Alabama's Nate Oates, and New York Knicks assistant coach Kenny Payne. As I hear more candidates, I'll drop it here online. If you hear anything or you agree with any of these candidates, let me know in the comment section below. Until next time, I'm JP. We will speak soon.